You know what? I love miracles. I love the supernatural. And I just said to Annabelle yesterday, we were just driving to Waco. I was speaking at Pastor Romero Pena's Pastor Appreciation Sunday. I said, I want to pray for more signs and wonders. Because, you know, if you're hungry, the Bible says God will feed you, he'll fill you. And it's so great today that I've got some pastors in the studio here today, Bill and Clara Bolin, who are both like that. They are supernatural lovers of God. And in fact, we did the Courage Tour in partnership with your church and Mario Murillo. That's how we connected. So I got a firsthand feeling of what it's like to be with this great couple. But I did not know until I heard today the number of testimonies that are proliferating in the supernatural that are coming from your church. And I, of course, want to hear it. I want to know. I don't even hardly know where to go. In that sense, this is unrehearsed. That's the way I like it. I'm discovering with the audience here what's going on. But first of all, Bill, I was talking to you before we went on. I was looking at your history, and you guys helped to pioneer Teen Challenge. Anybody out there that knows my age demographic knows Teen Challenge, so this connects with them.
Right.
This is the most powerful, faith-based, get off of drugs and find Jesus redemptive program in the country. In fact, you know that Ronald Reagan, when he had his Just Say No, anti-drug program, he went and grabbed the guy who was in New York who was running the Teen Challenge there, because he met the man. He had so impacted him that he wanted to get him into the White House. So that's where you started. You went in as in the program, and then you ended up coming out running it.
That's what happened. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool.
All right, so let's talk about your journey walking through pain and recovery. That's something I did not know about. What happened?
Well, I was hitchhiking across the United States, getting ready to head to Europe. I wanted to go to a couple peyote events and then Mardi Gras, and then I was planning on working my way over to Europe to study art in the great museums and then come back to the States and open up a studio to paint. And I wound up meeting Jesus on the road.
All right. So what's the rotator cuff situation, though?
Oh, rotator cuff. I fell right after you were at our church and actually severed 2 ligaments in my right rotator cuff. And I broke my left hand and tore the ligament in my left.
Oh, my God.
Right. And because of the Matrix, we were introduced to it. I wound up taking it. And the amazing thing about this product, what it did for me is after I was through the surgery and wearing that crazy brace they put you in, I was supposed to be in rehabilitation for a year or more. And they graduated me from rehabilitation, physical therapy, in 3 months. And my hand, where I had broke a bone, the bone had completely filled in, and the tear in the ligament had completely healed, which was really a good thing. As my wife, when she was looking at me with my arm in the sling and then the hand doctor looking at my left hand, she said, if you lose use of your left hand and your right hand, I'm going to pin a note on your shirt and drop you off at a rehabilitation center and pick you up later because you need at least one hand.
Wow. Mike, that's a tough cookie. All right. So so folks get the background here. When we do the Courage Tour, which was going to cost us about $1 million to do, and by faith, we have to do this stuff by faith. Absolutely. So I had sponsors that would work with me, and Level 10 Matrix is the most powerful stem cell therapy technology I've ever seen. And so they would come up and they would share for like 10 or 15 minutes at the event. Anyone interested could go talk to them. And they were at the 10 event with Mario Murillo. And that's kind of when you got introduced to it.
That's right.
And so I never know how that's going to go, but we have so many great testimonies that ends up like someone like you actually experiences it.
That's right.
So you got the therapy, and then what happened?
Well, again, my physical therapy was cut from a year or better down to 3 months, but I had a side benefit. I didn't even think about this, but I'd been diagnosed with wet macular degeneration 5 years earlier, and they told me I was going blind. So I was like sideways over it.
Oh, wow.
I'd never responded to prayer. It didn't heal. And so I was getting worse and worse in terms of the side effects. And after receiving the matrix, I woke up one night and it was flat. I just had this brilliant light in front of me. And after that, there were no symptoms at all. They just went away. I thought something happened when I went to see my ophthalmologist at the beginning of this year for my annual exam, because I'm 68 years old, so I get the annual exams now.
Right.
They did the camera work, and after my ophthalmologist did that camera work, I watched her write on my chart, no signs of macular degeneration whatsoever.
Wow. So
wiped out.
That was it's amazing. So the rotator cuff and everything was accelerated on the healing.
Yes.
But the macular degeneration
There was
surprised you, really.
Oh, absolutely. It was a side benefit. Was not expecting it.
This is what I want to tell the audience. The reason why I do these, because, I only do these because my staff and I and Annabelle keep on finding miraculous testimonies. And as long as these things are happening, I'm going to keep on putting these specials on.
Absolutely.
And the reality is, with the stem cells, you sometimes don't even know where they're going to go to work and how they show up. You could be looking for one result
And
actually get another, because your body prioritizes what it can most easily do, really.
That's right. It goes after degeneration, wherever that is. And my eyes were degenerating, and all of a sudden, my eyes are better.
All right, I want to do something. I have not seen this video yet, but I got people out there. Then I'm going to come back to you, Clara. I'm going to ask you, because I didn't realize that you were born without a vertebrae, a missing vertebrae, right?
That's right.
I want to go to that story next. But for the folks that are watching this for the first time, you want to get in touch with this powerful therapy. Go to level10matrix.com. On Facebook or Instagram, you can put the word matrix, just MATRIX, and you can call 1-800-361-2270, and you can find out what hundreds of other people have found out. How the power of God is actually healing people through I think there's divine discoveries of things that are working to save, to help people have stronger, longer lives, and to remove a lot of the pain and avoid some of the costly surgery people are working with. I want you guys in the producer room, go to a certain video for me. I haven't seen it yet, but I want you to go to video 6, because I think it will help people that are watching this for the first time explain how this works so they understand the science behind it. Let's go.
Stem cells are the master cells of the body, the building blocks of tissues and organs. The umbilical cord and the blood left in it at birth contain a broad diversity of pristine newborn stem cells that have demonstrated the ability to help other tissues and organs heal themselves after injury or disease. While researchers have yet to identify every type of newborn stem cell, they have isolated specific stem cells that are the building blocks for other cells and organ tissue throughout the body. Hematopoietic stem cells, found in cord blood, have been used for 20 years to help regenerate the body's blood and immune system. Mesenchymal stem cells, found primarily in the umbilical cord tissue itself, have the ability to help form bone or connective tissues like cartilage and ligaments. Stem cells from the umbilical cord and cord blood have distinct benefits compared to adult stem cells from bone marrow. They're younger, have greater ability to multiply, and have had minimal exposure to environmental factors like viruses or chemicals that can interfere with cell structure and function. But what remains a question is how newborn stem cells work together to help the body heal. Researchers theorize that this diverse population of cells functions like a symphony, each type of cell having a different role to perform in healing damaged tissue and cells. Current research suggests that newborn stem cells help orchestrate a natural repair process by helping to reduce inflammation, stimulate the growth of blood vessels, improve blood flow to injured areas, and ultimately enabling injured cells to repair themselves.
Wow. That's the first time I've seen that. And so all that's going on, and that's probably part of who knows what part of that was responsible for your sight and for your muscular regeneration. But Clara, tell me what this is about your vertebrae. I did not know this about you. So you were born
without a vertebrae, and because of that, I've just had chronic back issues my whole life. Just could turn my head just slightly, and my back would just be out for a whole month, literally. So just chronic pain, chiropractic visits, Advil, all kinds of just medication to get through that. And I received the therapy in July of last year, and since then, I've had absolutely no back issues since then. Have not had any pain.
What do you think happened?
Well, I don't have an X-ray. I didn't take an X-ray at the time because honestly, I didn't know even to do that. I didn't know what the matrix or what the possibility of the matrix would be in my body. I'd had X-rays earlier in my life showing the missing vertebrae, but ever since then, no pain. And I've been to the chiropractor, and he has no explanation for what's happened in my body.
I'd love to see what happened. That would be like, there's a testimony there for sure.
Absolutely.
The likelihood is what it did is it went after the inflammation because, as you know, the matrix is anti-inflammatory.
Right.
And it also likely went after the side effect in terms of the arthritis. And in shrinking the inflammation and going after the arthritis, she has not had any issues whatsoever. And it was a big problem.
Yes.
And it's amazing. Look, we're Pentecostal preachers, right?
We are.
So we believe in divine healing. We believe in deliverance. We believe in the whole meal deal.
Yes.
We do.
And yet, we you that are out there, you're probably like me. I mean, you'd be watching a show like this if you weren't. So you believe in the supernatural, but then you come up against this hard reality that something's not budging.
Absolutely.
And that's where I believe this moment comes in. Mm-hmm. This might be the peace.
Right.
Because I think God kind of reveals this stuff. There's a sense in which the Lord reveals these things so that for the sake of his people, it's like, I'm glad that I got contact lenses. I don't want to walk around blurry-eyed.
Right.
And so you want to go to 800-361-2270, level10matrix.com, just to be able to, listen, if you're on Facebook or Instagram right now, just put the word matrix in, and we'll get you some material on this so you could learn about this. But I heard you also had like a lump on your neck or something?
I did. When I was, my son was born, and he's 32 now, and I had a lump on my neck. The doctors didn't really know what it was after the birth, and I never had a biopsy or anything on it. They kept measuring it. It didn't grow, so they weren't super concerned about it. And again, I didn't even think about the possibility of that being affected in my body, but I felt, and you could feel now, there's absolutely no lump on the side of my neck, and it was like the size of a quarter. And, rather pronounced on my neck, and it's completely gone.
Melted away.
Yeah.
What do you tell people? Oh, I can't believe we only have 1:53 seconds left. What do you guys tell people? How do you explain this when you introduce it to folks in your church or they contact you?
Well, what I tell people in terms of the matrix itself is when you were born, you had about 26 trillion cells in your body. 1 in 10,000 were stem cells. Everything you are was built out of umbilical cord stem cells at the very beginning. But by the time you're 80, you only have 1 in 2 million. So you go from 1 in 10,000, which is like this, to 1 in 2 million, it's like this. Even at 65, it's 1 in a million. So the diminishing number of stem cells is the reason why we have a lot of complications as we get older. And when we are able to extract these stem cells following a successful live birth, which is really important, we acquire the umbilical cord, we extract the stem cells from it, from something that would normally be waste, and we are able to repurpose that, taking something that God designed. This is God's medicine. This is how he created us. And healing is encoded in our DNA. Stem cells are designed to function, to rebuild our organs, to rebuild our tissue. And all we're doing is taking these stem cells and injecting them or putting them back into people and then letting them go to town to do whatever it is that they do. And they do a lot of good because this is something God created. And to me, it is every bit as effective and every bit as God-centered in terms of healing as us praying for the sick and calling on Holy Spirit to come and do something miraculously, because we were marvelously, wonderfully, miraculously created, and this is part of God's creation, the miracle of regeneration.
You know, and you have to think about that. I know I'm out of time. I'm going to be going over a minute here, but the human body was not designed to die. You were designed to live. Sin came in, and the way I look at that is that 1 in 10,000 down to 1 in 2 million. A man originally lived like Methuselah for 900 years, but because the imagination of his heart was wicked, God had to shorten the lifespan, lest you become really a sophisticated Hannibal Lecter after 500 years, and the whole society's taken over by crazy people. So God said, I got to shorten the lifespan here. However, now that we're, you know, in America, you got a long life if you're up to 80 or something, the stem cell from the newborn babe, the umbilical cord, puts back into you the original building blocks, which multiplies billions of times into your body. Because you see a little baby, it grows, right? So it's programmed to give you healthy regeneration. That's I guess it's taken me a year to figure that out, but it's almost like it's reversing the decay that is in the body so that there is something restored.
That's exactly what it does, because you just have to think our stem cells, because of the noetic effect, the effect of sin and the fall, our stem cells are programmed to degenerate because of sin, because we have to die. We know that. But when we extract these stem cells from an umbilical cord, from a live birth, always following a live birth. This is really important because some people think they're taken from aborted children. They are not. Right. This has nothing to do with abortion. These are successful live birth stem cells. When we take and we put them back into the human body, they're not rejected. They just do good. And they're not rejected because if you're alive, you have stem cells. But your stem cells, like everything else in your body, are degenerating. And so at 68 years old, my age, my stem cells have degenerated. I needed a boost. And that's all we're doing. We're boosting our production in numbers, raising them to a level to where our body can do what God designed it to do, to regenerate on its own. We are stimulating the healing process that God programmed into you, into me, into my wife, and it works.
Well, Bill and Clara, listen, I'm out of time now, but I want to hold you over for a little bonus segment for my people here because I got some more stories I want to talk about. But you guys have heard. Now, listen, if you or someone you love and you know is going through something with chronic pain or has this surgical, deadline looming on the horizon, why don't you just to take a look at level10matrix.com, 1-800-361-2270. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, just put the word matrix in. You'll get the link and talk to someone. Talk to someone who can answer the questions like Bill and Clara can. And I believe God's going to make you one of the great testimonies. We're always playing. We got more. I have a whole list of them here I haven't played yet. I haven't even seen them. So we're going to do that. Another quick bonus interview. I want to see all the material. Act now, because you never know when this could be the moment when a miracle takes place in your life and the life of someone you love. God bless.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world.